Welcome to our deep dive into the world of startups. You know, we're going to be dissecting Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 today. It's not just about starting any business, it's those game-changing
Yeah.
companies, those companies that redefine entire industries. And it's a pretty bold vision. I mean, he even throws in some counterintuitive ideas like monopolies being good for progress.
Yeah.
So are you ready to rethink what you thought you knew about innovation?
I think it's definitely a thought-provoking read. One of the things that I think is most striking is he distinguishes between what he calls one-to-many and 0 to 1 thinking.
Okay, break that down for me. What's the difference?
Well, imagine a new social media app. That's basically a clone of something that already exists.
Yeah.
That would be one-to-many. You're taking an existing idea and just replicating it, but creating something truly new, something the world hasn't seen before. That's 0 to 1. Think of the first iPhone. It wasn't just another phone.
Right.
It was a total paradigm shift.
Yeah, I see where he's going with this. So how does this 0 to 1 thinking connect to his argument about monopolies? That's a pretty controversial stance, isn't it?
It is. And I think it's easy to misunderstand. He's not advocating for the kind of monopolies that stifle competition
Yeah.
and hurt consumers. What he's saying is, when a company achieves dominance by creating something truly valuable, that dominance can actually fuel innovation. They have the resources and the
Okay.
freedom to invest in long-term ambitious projects that companies battling for market share just simply can't.
So instead of looking over their shoulder, they can focus on what's next, on those 0 to 1 leaps forward. That's an interesting way to look at it. Can you give an example of a company that embodies this idea?
I think Google is a classic example.
Okay.
Their dominance in search allowed them to branch out into things like self-driving cars and AI.
Wow.
These are incredibly complex and risky ventures that wouldn't have been possible if they were still fighting for, every percentage point in the search market.
Makes a lot of sense. It's almost like their early success gave them the breathing room to become even more innovative. Now, Thiel also talks a lot about vision, about thinking differently. What are some of the key takeaways there?
I think he's really challenging us to question assumptions, to look for opportunities where others see only obstacles. He has this great line in the book. He says, "What important truth do very few people agree with you on?"
Mm.
It's about having the courage to see things differently and to pursue those unconventional ideas that others might dismiss.
So don't follow the crowd. Find your own path. But finding that path isn't easy, is it? What does he say about actually building these groundbreaking companies?
Well, one of the things he really emphasizes is the importance of a cohesive founding team. It's not just about talent. It's about shared values and vision. Everyone needs to be on the same page, working towards the same goal. He compares it to a band. If the musicians aren't in sync, the music will be a mess.
Okay, so you've got this incredible team, bold vision, you're ready to disrupt the world. Where do you even begin? Does he have any advice on how to actually get started?
He's a big believer in starting small, dominating a niche. Don't try to be everything to everyone right away. Find a specific market segment, solve their problems better than anyone else, and build a strong foundation from there.
That makes sense. It seems much more manageable than trying to conquer the world on day one. Any examples of companies that have used this strategy effectively?
We'll look at PayPal's early days. They focused intensely on eBay power users, people who are already comfortable with online transactions.
Okay.
It was a brilliant way to gain traction in a specific market before branching out to a wider audience.
So it's about finding that beachhead and
Yeah.
building from there. Now, we can't talk about startups without talking about technology. I'm guessing Thiel has some strong opinions there, too.
Oh, he definitely does. He's a huge advocate for leveraging technology for exponential growth, and not just using technology, but owning it. He emphasizes the importance of developing proprietary technology, that secret sauce. That gives you a real edge over the competition.
So it's not enough to just build an app. You need to have something unique, something that can't be easily replicated. How does this relate to someone who might not be in the tech industry? Is this 0 to 1 thinking only relevant for Silicon Valley types?
Absolutely not. Whether you're in finance, healthcare, education, understanding how innovation drives success is crucial. Even if you're not building the technology yourself, you need to be aware of how it's shaping your industry and how you can leverage it to create value.
That's a great point. Okay, before we wrap up part one, I want to touch on one more concept that really caught my eye. This idea of secrets. It sounds a bit mysterious, almost like something out of a spy novel. What does he mean by secrets, and why are they so important for building groundbreaking companies?
He's not talking about literal secrets, like, a hidden formula or a buried treasure. He's talking about valuable insights or truths that are not widely known or understood. It's about seeing something that others have missed, uncovering that hidden potential, and building a business around that unique understanding.
It's those aha moments, those flashes of insight that unlock these new possibilities. But how do you find these secrets? Is it just about being lucky, or is there a more deliberate approach?
Thiel believes that secrets are often hidden in plain sight. It's about looking at familiar things with fresh eyes, questioning assumptions,
Yeah.
and being willing to challenge conventional wisdom.
Being curious, constantly asking why, digging deeper. It's fascinating to think that these groundbreaking companies are built on insights that in some ways were already out there, just waiting to be discovered. How can someone apply this idea of secrets to their own field or industry? It seems a bit abstract.
Think about it this way. What if you discovered a fundamental truth about customer behavior in your industry that no one else had realized? Or maybe there's an innovative approach to solving a common problem that's been overlooked. These are the kinds of secrets that can create enormous value.
So it's about finding those hidden gems, those unconventional insights. That can give you a competitive edge. Thiel's really pushing us to think differently, isn't he?
He is. He's challenging us to question the status quo, to embrace the unknown, and to actively seek out those opportunities that others might dismiss as crazy or unrealistic.
It's a reminder that innovation isn't just about following the trends, it's about forging your own path, even if it leads you in unexpected directions. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from 0 to 1 thinking, to the power of monopolies, and the importance of secrets. But I'm curious from your perspective, what are the most valuable takeaways from 0 to 1? What are the things that have really stuck with you?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is that true progress comes from creating something genuinely new. It's not about incremental improvements, it's about those leaps forward, those moments where we break free from the constraints of the past and create something entirely new and valuable.
It's about making a dent in the universe, not just adding another drop to the bucket. And it sounds like that applies to every industry, every field, every aspect of life, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. This 0 to 1 mindset isn't just for entrepreneurs, it's for anyone who wants to make a meaningful impact. It's about challenging ourselves to think differently, to question assumptions, and to strive for something truly exceptional.
It's a reminder that innovation isn't just about technology, it's about creativity, problem solving, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. It's about seeing the world with fresh eyes and having the courage to pursue those unconventional ideas that have the power to change everything.
That's a great point. Innovation isn't limited to any particular field or industry. It's a mindset, a way of approaching the world. And 0 to 1 provides a compelling framework for cultivating that mindset.
And what I think is so appealing about Thiel's approach is it's not just theoretical. He provides concrete strategies for turning these big ideas into reality.
Exactly. We talked about the importance of starting small, dominating a niche, and building a strong foundation. He also emphasizes the importance of focus, of concentrating your efforts on solving a specific problem exceptionally well, rather than trying to be everything to everyone.
Having a clear vision and a relentless commitment to achieving it. And speaking of vision, Thiel repeatedly emphasizes the need to think long-term. What's his reasoning behind that?
He argues that truly impactful companies are built on solving enduring problems, not chasing fleeting trends. He encourages entrepreneurs to build companies that will matter decades from now, not just capitalize on the latest fad.
So it's not about quick wins or short-term gains. It's about creating something lasting, something that will stand the test of time. There's a certain nobility in that approach, a sense of purpose that goes beyond just making money.
Absolutely. And that sense of purpose is crucial for attracting and retaining talented people who share your vision. Thiel is very clear that building a great company is a team effort, and that finding the right people is paramount.
He compares it to assembling a band. Everyone needs to be playing the same song. And that brings us back to the importance of culture and shared values.
Right. It's not enough to just have talented individuals. You need a team that's aligned, motivated, and passionate about the same mission.
It's about creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to contribute their best work and where that collective energy is focused on achieving something truly extraordinary. And that's something that applies not just to startups, but to any organization, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Whether you're leading a team, building a company, or simply striving to make a difference in your own sphere of influence, these principles of vision, focus, and long-term thinking are essential for success.
Thiel also spends quite a bit of time discussing the role of technology. He seems to view it as a powerful tool for creating a better future. But he's also cautious about its potential downsides.
Yes, he believes that technology should be used to empower people, not to replace them. He's particularly concerned about the potential for automation to displace jobs
Mm.
and exacerbate inequality.
So it's not just about blindly embracing technology, it's about using it thoughtfully and ethically, with a focus on creating a future that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. And that requires us to think critically about the impact of technology, to consider the unintended consequences, and to ensure that we're using it to build a more just and equitable society.
Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to decide how we wield it and what kind of future we want to create.
That's a powerful thought. And it ties nicely with Thiel's emphasis on the importance of values. He argues that building a successful company is not just about making money, it's about creating something. That aligns with your values, and that contributes to a better world.
It's about having a purpose that goes beyond profit, a mission that inspires and motivates you and your team. And that's something that resonates deeply with me. It's not just about building businesses, it's about building a better future.
Well said. And that's what makes Zero to One such a compelling read. It's not just a business book. It's a book about ideas, about
Yeah.
innovation, about the power of human potential to shape the future.
It's a book that challenges us to think differently, to question assumptions, and to strive for something truly exceptional. And it's a book that leaves us feeling inspired and empowered to create our own unique path to a brighter future. It really is. And, speaking of creating a better future, we touched on the importance of technology, but it's worth exploring a bit further. It's not just about any technology, though, is it?
Right, I think Thiel would say. Technology becomes truly powerful when it breaks new ground. He'd probably point to things like the internet, or smartphones, or even CRISPR gene editing as examples. These aren't just incremental improvements, they've fundamentally changed how we live and interact with the world.
Yeah, those are the ones that really grab the headlines. But what about the innovations happening quietly behind the scenes? Are those 0 to 1 moments happening all the time without us even realizing it?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
think about all the advancements in fields like materials science or logistics. These might not be as flashy as a new gadget,
Right.
but they're quietly transforming industries and solving problems in ways we couldn't have imagined just a few years ago.
So there's this constant evolution happening, and it's up to us not only to keep up, but also to understand how to harness these advancements for good. How does Thiel believe we can do that?
Well, I think you'd say it starts with that 0 to 1 mindset, thinking critically about the problems we face and using technology as a tool to solve them in bold, creative ways. It's about having the courage to challenge the status quo and ask, what if?
So it's not about just blindly adopting the latest tech, but rather understanding its potential and applying it thoughtfully to create real lasting value. But I also think there's an ethical dimension to all of this, right? How do we ensure that technology is used for good and not for harm?
That's a crucial point. And Thiel does acknowledge the potential downsides of technology, particularly when it comes to job displacement and the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. He believes that we need to be mindful of these challenges and actively work to mitigate them.
So it's not just about can we do this, it's also should we do this? We need to think about the long-term consequences of our actions and ensure that technological progress aligns with our values as a society.
Exactly. It's about using technology to create a future that benefits everyone, not just a select few. And it requires us to have those tough conversations about ethics, fairness, and the kind of world we want to build.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. We've uncovered so many layers to 0 to 1. It's not just a guide for startups. It's a framework for thinking about innovation, progress, and the very nature of human ambition. Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with that thought-provoking question from the book. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? What's your take on that? And why do you think Thiel poses that question?
Well, I think it's a brilliant challenge. And it goes to the heart of 0 to 1 thinking. He's pushing us to step outside our comfort zones, to question conventional wisdom, and to explore those uncharted territories of thought. It's in those unconventional ideas, those important truths that few others grasp, that the seeds of groundbreaking innovation are often found.
It's a reminder that progress often comes from those who dare to see the world differently, who challenge the status quo, and who pursue ideas that others might dismiss as crazy or impossible. So to our listeners, we leave you with that challenge. What's your important truth? What do you believe that few others do? Explore it, nurture it, and who knows, it might just lead you to your own 0 to 1 moment.
And that's what makes this whole journey of discovery so exhilarating. It's about embracing the unknown,
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and striving to make a real difference in the world.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into 0 to 1. We hope it sparked your curiosity, inspired your imagination, and given you a fresh perspective on the power of innovation.